Should you opt for higher pension under the employees' pension scheme? We do the math for you. Welcome to TUI Wallet Talks. The time to decide is now. Should you opt for a higher outgo on the pension scheme at the expense of your Provident Fund corpus? Puneet Gupta, tax partner at EY India, is going to help us understand this somewhat complicated issue in very simple terms. And by the end of this episode, we hope that you'll know exactly how to decide on this very important issue. Hi Puneet, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Puneet, we'll start with the basics, okay? Understanding the pension system in India, whether it is for the government employees or it is for the private employees. There is EPFO, there are private trusts, there is EPS, there is NPS. So can you explain to us how this works?
Sure. So for private sector employees, most private sector employees are covered under what is called as Provident Fund Act. Under the PF Act, there are basically three schemes. The first scheme, the most important and prominent scheme, is the PF scheme or the Provident Fund scheme.
Right.
And I call it like a savings bank account. Both employer and employee contribute to that account every month, and EPFO accrues interest at the year end, and that money is available for employee as a lump sum withdrawal post-retirement or on specified events. Now,
Right.
in most cases, the PF scheme is managed and regulated through the EPFO, who's the statutory body managing EPF scheme. But in some cases, private employers set up private PF trusts. These are called private trust or exempted trust, where instead of contributing to the EPFO, employer and employee contribute to the private trust, and employees get lump sum withdrawal from that PF trust. So EPFO or private trust both manage PF scheme. The second scheme, which is the much debated scheme last few weeks, is the pension scheme. In most cases regulated by the EPFO. A small portion of overall contribution goes to the pension scheme every month, and after 58 years of age, employee gets an annuity payout or a monthly pension payout from the pension scheme.
Okay.
The third scheme is the deposit-linked insurance scheme, which is like an insurance plan where after employee's death, the nominees get a lump sum payout. So three schemes under the Provident Fund Act for private sector employees.
Yes.
Now, for private sector employees, the National Pension System or NPS is a completely independent voluntary scheme. Employees may or may not opt for National Pension System and should not be mixed with pension scheme or EPF scheme. These are completely independent.
Right.
For government sector employees, they're not covered under the EPF Act. And for them, NPS is the only scheme where most government sector employees contribute.
But what is this latest Supreme Court ruling? Can you explain it to us in simple terms?
Sure. So as per the Supreme Court ruling, there are two main categories of employees who can opt for higher pension. One is employees who are continuing employees as on date, but who started service before 1st September 2014. Or employees who retired on or after 1st September 2014. Mainly these two categories of employees can opt for what is called as higher pension. Now, what is higher pension? In a regular scenario, if employees were to not opt for higher pension, out of total 12% plus 12%, 24% contribution, only 1250 rupees, which is 8.33% of 15,000 goes to pension scheme. The remaining large corpus goes to PF scheme. So if I take an example for an employee with 1 lakh salary, only 1250 rupees would go to pension scheme. 22,750 every month will go to PF scheme. These employees now have an option to say that they would want to opt for higher pension, where instead of calculating 8.33% on 15,000, employer will calculate 8.33% of full basic salary of an employee.
Okay.
And as per the latest notification, also contribute in addition 1.16% of basic salary minus 15,000. So almost 9.49% of employers' contribution will go to pension scheme, and the remaining will go to PF scheme. So your total corpus or kitty under Provident Fund will go down, and the contribution that goes to pension scheme will go up.
Right.
Now, why would an employee opt for this? Because in a regular scenario, if employee were to contribute only basis 1250 rupees, then the monthly pension that an employee would get from the EPFO will be say 3, 4, 5,000 rupees per month. But if an employee contributes at a higher salary, then last 5 years average basic salary into a number of years of service divided by 70 is the monthly pension that an employee would get. So almost, for an example, with an employee with average salary of 1 lakh rupees and with 35 years service period, almost 50,000 rupees will be the monthly pension that employee would get after 58 years of age. So this is an option on the table to be selected by each employee whether or not they want to opt for higher pension.
But let's say I'm an employee who's been in the private sector for over 15 years now, right? And I have my EPFO corpus right there ready. So how should I decide whether I should opt for the EPS higher payout or should I continue with that Provident Fund corpus? Because as you rightly pointed out, if I opt for a higher pension payout, then it means a reduction in my EPFO corpus at the time of my retirement.
Yeah. So Smriti, the way to look at it is there is certain disadvantage and there's certain advantage of higher pension. The disadvantage is the example that you gave, 15 years of service. For those 15 years of service, almost 40% of your PF corpus will be taken away and will be put under pension scheme, which means that your lump sum withdrawal from PF scheme will go down and the total corpus under pension scheme will go up. So that's the disadvantage, that PF corpus will go down and will continue to go down for future years as you contribute, because this option has to be elected from the day of joining employment and will continue till the date of exit from the PF membership. Now that's the disadvantage. The advantage is that after employees have attained 58 years of age, the monthly pension that employee would draw from the EPFO will be based on that higher salary. That example that I gave earlier, on a 1 lakh rupees average basic salary, employee would probably get 50,000 rupees as monthly pension from the EPFO. The way to look at it is that your lump sum withdrawal from PF will go down and the monthly pension that employee will get after 58 years of age from EPFO will go up.
So basically it's a trade-off. Do you want your entire savings as a lump sum amount at the end of your retirement, or do you want a monthly, like almost like a systematic plan where you get a monthly installment or an EMI every month? You have a certain income that you're earning because of EPS.
Absolutely, right? Yes, that's the right way to put it.
Okay, but Puneet, please help me understand that when you say that almost 40% of your corpus would go towards the higher payout, is there a timeline to it? Let's say hypothetically I joined service in 2008 or 2007. So is there a cutoff date, or is it going to basically cut from the date of my joining to now?
So Smriti, there are two portions of contribution that will be reallocated from PF to pension. One is 8.33% of basic salary, full basic salary. This will be reallocated from the day of joining. So if you joined service in 2007 or 2008, from that day onwards, 8.33% of your basic salary every month will be taken out of PF and will be put under pension scheme. The second corpus which will move is 1.16% of basic salary minus 15,000 rupees. This reallocation will start effective 1st September 2014, but will continue till the date of exit. So your 8.33% reallocation will start from the date of joining, and 1.16% reallocation will start from 1st September 2014. There is no option to employee to only opt for this prospectively. This has to be from a retrospective date.
Okay, so when you're saying that my basic salary will be on the basis of my day of joining, it's going to be my current basic salary or the basic salary at the time of joining?
Each month's basic salary. So
it will be a huge calculation out there.
Absolutely. And there is an obligation on the employer to provide salary details for each month the person was employed with the organization. So someone employed with company for 20 years, it becomes employer's obligation to provide salary details for last 20 years to the EPFO.
Let's say if I pass away, then my dependents will get 50% of this EPS payout monthly. Let's say my dependent also passes away. Let's say my dependent is my spouse. He passes away. Then what happens to this corpus amount? Do my children get it? Does somebody else get it? What happens to it?
Yeah. So one has to remember that pension is not a defined contribution plan. It's a defined benefit plan.
Right.
So if the employee is gone, employee's spouse is gone, then if there are children who are less than 25 years of age, they would get monthly pension as per a prescribed formula. But say in a scenario where employee is gone, employee's spouse is gone, and there are no children who are less than 25 years of age, there is no benefit under the pension scheme. That entire money basically will be lost. So there is no return of corpus from the pension scheme. It is very different from how the PF scheme is run. But on the other scenario, say employee is alive for say 30 years after 58 years of age, then employee or the spouse will continue to get monthly pension for the entire period the employee is alive after retirement.
So Puneet, while we can always consult a financial advisor, what I want to understand from you is that, as I said, there is EPS, there is NPS, there are other pension funds and trusts. How do I decide which one should I opt for? Should I go for an NPS, which is a voluntary contribution and also offers me actually benefits otherwise, or should I actually look for the EPS only? They both have sovereign guarantee.
Yeah. So NPS and EPS are again very different schemes. NPS, even if an employee opts for NPS now, it is only a prospective scheme. So you'll only build corpus as you go along, starting now. While this whole higher pension scheme is a prospective scheme, the reallocation of money from PF to pension will start from the day one when the employee had started employment. So you already have built in a kitty towards pension if one opts for higher pension.
Right.
So that's one basic difference. The other difference is that even under NPS, employee has an option to claim a lump sum of up to 60% total corpus, and the balance 40% can go to an annuity. No such option exists under pension scheme. It's only, especially for an employee with more than 10 years of service, it's only a monthly annuity that employee or the spouse or children will get from the pension scheme. So employee therefore should weigh in all the pros and cons and then decide whether or not to opt for higher pension.